Holly with Florida West Art and Jewel, and I'm actually working on my second project of today. I made a piece, then I had to go to work, and then I got home, and now I'm going to be doing a hammered heart with some birthstones in it. So I'm trying to decide right now whether I want to use 16 gauge or 18 gauge or 19 gauge sterling. I typically use Argentium sterling. I like it because it's whiter, it is more pure, it's alloyed with germanium as opposed to copper, so it tends to not tarnish as much. And it's a little bit more pricey, but I like it because I just think it's better quality, and I put a lot of time into the pieces themselves, so I like to make sure that they're the best that they can be. Anyways, so with gauges of wire, the lower the number, the thicker the wire. And this is the 18. And here is the 16. I definitely just ruled out the 19 because it's not heavy enough. Yeah, I think I like the 16. All right, so 16 it is. All right, now I usually kind of straighten the wire with a polishing cloth, sterling polishing cloth. It gets it nice and clean before I work with it, and it also softens the wire and just makes it a little bit more pliable to work with. And then I have to get my daughter to all her senior activities because she's about to graduate. So tomorrow is the big commencement day. Can't believe it. Okay. I would venture to say, I'm thinking 5 or 6 inches is about what I want to do. That looks about right. I don't want it to be too huge. The girl that this is for is quite petite, but she really doesn't shy away from big jewelry, so I guess I shouldn't either. Okay. Now that I clipped it, I like to file the ends down. It makes it so that it doesn't scratch the wearer, because scratchy jewelry does not make for happy customers or friends. Okay. Now I have to decide whether I want to go kind of against the grain, against the curve, or with it. And I'm going to go against it because I think it'll give me kind of a nice little sway out. So I'm going to go about to the center. Once again, I'm not very good about measuring. So I'm very eyeballing of my jewelry pieces. Looks about right. Okay, so I'm just giving it a bend in the center, like that. And then I'm going to twirl it in to form the heart. Hi, baby.
Do you have more socks I can use? White socks.
I don't know. You can look in my sock bin, dear. That's Gabrielle. She's the graduate. Thank goodness. I swear, they make parents work harder than they ever did in the past to get their kids to walk that runway.
It's not a runway.
Well, it's not a plank either, so.
Touché.
That's my eldest child you hear in the background.
You're gonna listen.
All right, honey.
Let me know.
I know.
I've obtained this one.
Let me know when you're ready to walk out the door.
You got it.
Okay, so I have one side done. If you can see that. I might bring it in a little bit more, but I don't know. I will have to make that decision soon. So I'm just kind of taking the end here and I'm twirling it in, and I try to keep that motion very smooth, because if it's not very smooth, the twirls get kind of not very round, and then they're not as pretty. So if you want to keep it graceful, you kind of have to keep the metal moving. I do use, there's different hardnesses of the metals that you can buy. There's like full soft, and then there's half hard, and there's full hard. As you go up in hardness, you also go up in durability, but it comes at a price of kind of a bit of a brittleness. So I typically work with half hard for most things. But it's not easy to bend. When you get into kind of the heavier gauge wires, it's not really easy to bend, but it does make for a nice piece of jewelry. Okay, so that is the basic of the heart. Now, I love to hammer metal, and I'm really hoping that I don't make anybody deaf when I do this, but I'm gonna have to do it. So if you need to plug your ears or turn down your volume, go with that. I'm not real happy with how this one side looks, so I've got to fix it. Looks a little bit boxy. If I do wraps and things a lot of times, that's when I'll use a full soft wire sometimes, because it just bends much more easily. Okay, now I'm going to start by hammering down here at the bottom. And I don't know if you can see or not, but hopefully. I tend to kind of draw the metal, like the direction that you hammer in matters. You can't just bam, bam, bam. You kind of got to draw the metal into the shape that you're after. So I will be doing that. And I don't want to hammer the whole thing. Just kind of pick and choose. And also, as you hammer, it makes the shape very rigid. It really kind of sets the piece in that specific manner. So once you have hammered it, you cannot change how the shape is really, because it just won't. It won't move after that. So you got to make sure you like it, which is what I'm going to do right now. This has been raining. I hear it raining again. We never get rain like this. This is Florida. Not all day rain. We've had all day rain. Okay, that's pretty good. Now I want to give the upper parts kind of like a little flare. You know, this is the bottom part kind of drawn down a little bit. And it gives it a nice look. It gives it a nice handmade look. I like to see the strike marks in the metal. I think it adds a layer of authenticity and workmanship that you typically don't get. So now I'm going to kind of hammer around this side here. Again, I'm going to draw this back this way. Okay, I'll take that. No, not quite. So I've done, you can see the difference in the two sides, maybe. This one I did the hammering on, and this one I have not done the hammering on yet. It gives it a grace too, because you kind of can make the metal like kind of move more. You give it more movement and more texture. And on top of that, if you're irritated with somebody, it's just great because you can just pound away. Okay. Okay. All right, so that's the piece hammered. Now, because the hammer, you know, it kind of can mar the surface a little bit, I tend to go back and I usually polish it up after this to remove any dirt or tarnishing. These cloths are amazing. I've had this thing for like 4 years. I have a bunch of them, but I'll tell you what, no matter how much black they have them, they still work. They just last forever. All that for like $5 from Walmart. It's great. Okay, now I am going to be working specifically with sapphire and opal because those are the two birthstones. And I've got to make some decisions here that I am not positive exactly what stones I want where. So bear with me while I do this. But this is fun because you kind of get to play with the colors, and I don't know if I want the main stone in the center to be sapphire and the like little opals around it, or whether I want the reverse of that. And I just realized I need to put these beads on something or they will go flying everywhere. So, excuse me. Here are sapphires. These are faceted sapphires. Sapphire is, interestingly, actually the same thing, the same mineral as ruby. It's all called corundum, but the only color that goes by a different name is the red, which is ruby. But sapphire actually comes in purples and greens and all sorts of very pretty colors, yellows, clear. So it's interesting. It's a very, very hard and very heavy mineral. There's some great sapphire mines up in the Carolinas. You can go up and you can dig, which of course I've had to because it's very fun. All right, now, yes, darling. What time is it, honey? It's 10 to 7?
Yes.
Oh, that's most unfortunate. All right. Looks like I'm going to have to get back to this. All right, give me just a couple seconds here, honey. I'm going to try to pick which way I'm doing this, and I'm going to have to get back to the video later. If you would like, you can. All right, honey. Okay, so either I'm going to be doing the main stone in the center here. If you can see that, I'm not sure. Maybe here. The main stone there with these little baby stones up the sides as the opals. I'm not totally sold on that. Or the opal in the center, and I am not sold on that either. Okay, so I'm completely changing the plan, and I don't like the big stones in the heart. I think they're just too much, and I'm going to go with all of the baby stones, and I think they will be quite lovely. So I will just kind of make a pattern in here with different sapphire and opals, I guess. The other option I could have is to bring them kind of like wire them all in like all in through the piece, but it's going to get a little bit sloppy if I do that. So, or maybe instead of that, I will bring it all down one side. I think that's the winner. I think that's what I'm going to go with. I'll take the small stones and I'll kind of do an entire side. So now I have to drive my daughter to the high school, but I will be back. So have a good night. Thank you. God bless and be well.